Hello everyone. If you were like me and had unrestricted access to the internet at a young age, then you probably recognize this guy. Or even these guys. While some of these, like Ben Drowned, are well written, or like Slenderman, have the foundation to have stories written about them, Jeff the Killer was objectively the worst written creepypasta of the early 2010s. Don't believe me? Well, here's a slightly paraphrased excerpt. Jeff got a strange feeling in his gut again, this time stronger. It was a strong, burning sensation. He stood up as Liu gestured for him to sit down, but Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet, or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, and what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed, and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the fucking stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Liu could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. So, looking back, it was definitely the image of Jeff the Killer that scared me the most, and not this fuck-ass story. The version that I intend on writing is set on fixing a lot of the things that I had wrong, or I found wrong, not that you know what I mean. With the, like the logic, the pacing, the dialogue, and the fact that a lot of these characters felt really one-dimensional. So, as I'm writing, I will be rereading through the original just so I know what not to do. So, I'll be back. So, I'll start with the prologue that I have written, and then I'll compare it to the original, and then I will criticize my own writing, and then say what I like about it and what I think could be better, and yeah. So we'll do that until I finish the story. It was late at night. Kai was restless, unable to sleep as the white noise from the fan filled his dark room. It had been a month since the school sent students home for 2 weeks in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. Kai's eyes were darting around the room, looking for something to focus on. His hope would be that if he stared at something long enough, his brain would get bored and eventually put him to sleep. But suddenly, as Kai's eyes were looking for something to settle on, a foul odor was bleeding from the corner of his room. His eyes immediately locked in on an ominous shadow that slowly hobbled toward him, running its fingers through the seams in the wall. Kai's heart started racing and his breathing became rapid. Perhaps it was the lighting in the room, or the old food Kai forgot to throw out. Sleep deprivation can play many tricks on the senses, and the mind, so he tightly closed his eyes, desperately hoping that when he'd opened them again, the figure, and the smell, would be gone. To Kai's horror, when he opened his eyes again, the figure was looming over him with a terrible wide smile with rotting and decaying teeth. A dreadful reality hit Kai. He wasn't hallucinating, and this wasn't a dream. Someone, or something, was in his room. Go to sleep, the figure spoke. Its voice was raspy, devoid of any semblance of life. Before Kai could even register its command, the shadow's callous, stiff hand pinned Kai down by his collarbone. Kai was frozen in fear. There was nothing he could do. Too stunned to speak, too stunned to even attempt to fight back. His eyes widened in horror as he tried to make sense of this being holding him down. Go to sleep, the figure repeated in the same dry, abhorrent voice, and with its other hand, the shadow swiftly plunged its rusty, old, dull knife into the base of Kai's skull. This ominous killer did not need sight to know where its prey was. From touch, smell, and sound alone, this monster could stalk through the night like a ghost. This unknown killer is still at large today, and the police have yet to find any new information regarding the murderer. The killer is believed to have been active since late 2008 and possibly early 2009. Officials say that this figure has evaded capture for 11 to 12 years, and will most likely never be caught. When we compare the two openings, mine and the original, I don't think I'd be biased in saying that I wrote a better one. Obviously, I do think that there are areas to improve in my opening. I liked that the local newspaper excerpt. I liked that idea. What I didn't like was a kid explaining the attack and surviving it. If I'm trying to make my readers afraid of this guy, I'm going to want him to kill the kid. I don't, like, I'm not sure if that's crazy to say, but, like, I'm going to want him to successfully kill this entire family of, what, 3, 4? I don't know. Aside from me having my gripes, like, just how a kid explained the story, because, like, the terrible writing can be excused by he's writing it as, like, the kid that's explaining the story. But then as you continue reading, it's still complete shit. So, when I look at my writing, I think I definitely am trying to show and not tell too much to the point where I'm just telling, you know? That's the feeling that I get when I'm reading this. It's just trying a little too hard. Not like edgy try hard, but like just inexperienced in horror writing try hard. If that makes any sense. I feel like I repeat certain like adjectives and words, like I say horror here, and then like in the next, I want to say 5 sentences, I repeat horror there. I'm not sure if that's the biggest issue in the world, but I feel like I could definitely expand my vocabulary a bit, and I could probably word things a little bit better. But I guess I don't have like harsh criticism like I do with the original. Yeah. My main issue, I guess, is just the way I phrase things, and I think that I can just do it better. I'm not sure if that's properly critiquing. I think I might need someone else to read this and then tell me what they think is good and what isn't. But yeah, that's all I have for my own writing right now. Sorry, hold on. Gosh, I look so dumb, don't I? But anyway, so just real quick, just wanted to say that I'm not going to be comparing my writing anymore, because obviously we know that the writing in the original is complete fucking dog shit. So yeah, I'll still critique my writing, but I'm gonna try not to drag out this video as much as it would be if I was still comparing. The year was 2008. Jeff and his family, as they had done many times before, were moving into a new neighborhood. Jeff and his brother Liu were never around an area long enough to make lasting connections. Because of their lack of friends and always being the new kids, the two were often bullied and ostracized by the local kids. To Jeff, it seemed like the world had it out for him, while to Liu, it was just a matter of adjusting and holding fast to the belief that a positive can-do attitude could get him out of feeling alone. I don't get why we always have to move, Mom, Jeff said, low and detached. Honey, you know that your dad's work involves constantly traveling, his mother replied tiredly. If it were up to me, we'd still be back at our old home, but it isn't up to me. Just try to make the most of it, okay? This is a chance for you to start on a fresh page. No one here knows us. That's exactly the problem. No one knows us. The pictures of the neighborhood reek of rich, pompous jerks. You have no idea what it's like to be around people like that, Jeff replied, his voice growing colder and angrier. His mother was getting ready to scold him until... It's okay, Jeff. We still have each other, right? Liu interjected, not wanting to be in the middle of a potential argument between Jeff and their mom. The car ride was long enough. The last thing either of them needed was wasting energy arguing over something meaningless. Jeff looked at Liu and paused for a moment. It was true. Even if they didn't have any friends, the brotherhood was what got them through the constant bullying. Yeah, we do, Jeff replied, sinking into his seat. Listen, son, I know always being the new kid is hard. How do you think I feel every time I'm in a new office? I'm always the new guy at work, but I don't let it stop me from being an efficient worker to show that I'm competent, his father said. What does it have to do with me? Or Liu? Asked Jeff. What I'm trying to say is, maybe show off the things that make you unique. Your fear of being rejected by those other kids is the only thing stopping you from showing a side of you that most people would find cool. Just think about it, okay? His father replied. Okay, Dad, Jeff replied dejectedly. Car ride lasted for what felt like an eternity, though eventually the family pulled into the driveway of their new home. Jeff immediately got out and rushed to the door. Not out of excitement, but to get away from his family and his new room. Jeff, even if he didn't say it out loud, made it obvious that he didn't care too much for this new home. So what if it's fancy? Fanciness doesn't equal happiness. Fanciness to Jeff was just a way of hiding insecurities, and this house was a painful reminder of just how much he struggles with his own self-esteem. It angered him deeply. Jeff, where do you think you're going? We still need to unload the U-Haul, his father called out to him. Oh, right. How could I have forgotten? Jeff said sarcastically as he walked back to the truck. The family spent the next hour moving things into the house, making sure everything was perfect, with Jeff muttering curse words to himself the entire time. Once they finished up, Jeff immediately went to his new room. Well, his and Liu's new room. Jeff's parents were insistent that they keep the extra room empty for a guest room. Jeff quietly hated the idea of strangers sleeping in his new home. It's not like they'd stay here long enough for anyone other than them to use it. But there's nothing he could do. As Jeff sat at the edge of his bed, quietly sulking, Liu walked in. "Hey, are you doing alright, bro?" Liu asked. "Yeah, I guess," Jeff replied, slightly annoyed. "I'm just tired of moving all the time. I just wish that we could stay somewhere longer than 6 months," Jeff continued as he laid down with his hands resting on the back of his head. "I understand, man," Liu spoke. "I used to feel the exact same way, but maybe this time will be different. Like Dad said, we just need to put ourselves out there so more people can get to know the real us." "But what if they won't ever like us? Won't ever like me?" Jeff asked. "All I want are friends who value me, just like when we were back at home. How will I know if there are people like that here?" "You'll know when they stick by you through thick and thin, bro. They'll understand your quirks and they'll include you and make you feel valued. Maybe not in the same way as it was back home, but it'll feel a lot better than holding on to this bitterness," Liu replied. "Just give these people a chance. Not all of them will be rich, pompous jerks, you know." Jeff laid there, quietly analyzing Liu's advice. Jeff thought to himself that by internalizing his father and brother's advice, that if he could appear more sociable and more willing to connect, people would stop ostracizing him and thus would validate him and make him feel like he has control for once in his life. The doorbell suddenly rang.
"Would one of you please get that? Your father and I are busy. We're going to be in the backyard."
Their mother called out from downstairs. "Well, if it's someone's mom in the neighborhood, maybe that's our chance to make some friends," Liu said to Jeff. "Want to go get the door?" he asked. "Only if you come with," Jeff replied as he leaned up from the bed. Liu chuckled to himself and accompanied Jeff to the door. As the two approached the door, Jeff stood upright, fixed his hair, and tried his best to make a natural expression, one that would signify sociability and a willingness to connect. "You got this, man. Just be yourself," Liu reminded Jeff. As Jeff opened the door, he was met with a tall, curvaceous woman. "Good evening, young man. I saw that your family just moved in. Are your parents around?" the lady asked as she knelt over to be eye level with Jeff. Yes, they're in the backyard, I think," Jeff replied in a warmer tone than his usual register. "Do you have any children?" Jeff asked inquisitively. "Yes, I do have children. They're around your age, actually. I was hoping to talk to your parents about meeting my kids, but I wouldn't want you to be forced into something you wouldn't want to do," the woman replied. "You're very thoughtful," Jeff said. "So, would you be interested in meeting my sons?" the woman continued. Jeff looked at Liu, waiting for some sort of confirmation. Jeff was still unsure about meeting new people he already cast as rich, pompous jerks. Liu shrugged and said, "It's up to you, bro." Jeff paused for a moment and then replied, "I'd love to. My brother and I struggle with making friends because we move so often, so if we could change that right off the bat, that'd be nice," Jeff said shyly. "I'm sure you'll all get along just fine," the woman said. "Now, do you think you can go get your parents? It'd feel weird if I knew their kids but not them, and I do need to talk to them about something." "Sure, I'll go get them," Jeff said. "Come on, bro," Jeff whispered to Liu, grabbing him gently by his wrist. "We'll be back," Liu said happily to the woman. "That went better than expected," Jeff said to Liu. "See, bro? You just gotta present yourself like that and more people will be willing to include you. And me," Liu said enthusiastically. "But don't you think she has to be nice to me because she's an adult and all? It'd be low-hanging fruit for an adult to openly mock and tease a teenager," Jeff quickly added. "Not at all, man. I can tell that she thinks you're a nice kid. If she has kids around our age, then she knows that teenagers can be awkward. Don't overthink it so much, dude," Liu replied. "Well, if you say so, I'll believe you," Jeff said. Liu opened the sliding door to the backyard and called out to their parents. "Mom, Dad," Liu spoke. "What is it, honey? Who's at the door?" their mother asked. "A lady from down the street," Jeff replied. His voice lacked the warmth he used back at the front door. "She mentioned having kids around our age, and she also said she wanted to talk to you about something." "Oh, how pleasant," their mother replied. "What did I tell you, sweetie? Can you talk to her yourself? You really are turning things around. Ooh, I'm so proud of you," she said as she hugged Jeff and smothered him with a tight hug. "Mom, stop!" Jeff said, clearly embarrassed. "If you did that in front of the neighbor's kids, they'll think I'm some retard," Jeff exclaimed. "Just go talk to the lady at the door already, and stop treating me like a child. I'm 13! Jeff stormed off back to his and Liu's room, slamming the sliding door closed while muttering even more curse words to himself. "The boy's growing up, Elizabeth," his father chimed in. "Oh, John. You'll know he'll always be my sweet little boy," Elizabeth replied. Well, learn how to comfort the boy that's hurting, and learn how to praise the man he's becoming, John said with finality. I suppose you're right, Elizabeth said, half to herself. Anyways, I'll go talk to the woman. She must have been waiting for a while, Elizabeth said. Elizabeth straightened her shirt out, fixed her hair, and applied lipstick, all to make a good first impression, or at least to recover the first impression. She didn't know exactly how long this woman had been standing outside her house, and Elizabeth always believed making people wait was disrespectful towards their time. She opened the door, and to her relief, the lady was still there. Oh, I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm Elizabeth. Elizabeth Whitmore, she introduced herself as she reached her hand out to shake the woman's hand. You've met my sons Jeffrey and Liu, yes? She asked. Oh, no worries, I wasn't waiting long. My name is Elena, she said as she shook Elizabeth's hand. And yes, I've met your sons. They seem very nice. I can understand Jeffrey's shyness. He's at that age where he has to get out of his own comfort zone on his own, or at least with some help, Elena replied. Anyways, I came over because I saw that you recently moved in. I'm having a neighborhood get-together this weekend, and I'd love for your family to be there. Without a thought, Elizabeth eagerly accepted the invite. Oh, we'd love to. Do you need us to bring anything? She asked. Nope. Just bring yourselves and make yourself known to the neighborhood, Elena replied giddily. The kind of giddiness only apparent in middle-aged women. Elena exchanged the party information with Elizabeth, and the two got to chatting for a few hours. The conversation ended with Elizabeth giving Elena an awkward hug before the two happily parted ways. Back in the brothers' room, Jeff was pacing around. But she's telling that lady all my embarrassing secrets, Jeff said, his voice low, brewing with anger. Not everything that comes out of Mom's mouth is going to be about you, bro, Liu replied. Just shut up, Jeff snapped. No, Jeff, you need to hear what I'm saying, Liu said calmly. I understand where you're coming from, and I can't begin to imagine how much worse it is for you than it was for me. You need to stop acting like a kid so Mom will stop treating you like one. Hearing those words from his own brother hurt Jeff in a quiet way. Deep down, Jeff knew that what Liu was saying was the truth, but his growing paranoia over not having any control in his new life that his parents wanted him to see as a good thing was eating at him. I just can't fucking stand it, Liu. Maybe I do act a little immature, and maybe it would do me some good to show Mom I'm growing up. But how can I do that if she doesn't give me the chance to? You just have to sit her down, one-on-one, and tell her to let you talk and not to interrupt you. That's what I had to do when I was your age, too. Liu continued. Bottling up your pain won't help Mom understand you. If you do talk to Mom, just don't yell at her. Calm down and think for a moment. You're a smart kid, man. You know better than to keep your problems to yourself. If you aren't willing to take the step to fix your own problems, neither me, Mom, or Dad will be able to help you. Jeff sat there, quietly seething. He knew it better than anyone. The easiest solution to stop being misunderstood was just to reach out and talk. But why should he have to if the other people aren't willing to take that step either? Why does he have to rely on the other person's willingness or unwillingness to listen to him? This thought sat with Jeff throughout the rest of the night. Yeah, you're right, bro, Jeff quietly conceded. See? That self-awareness is your specialty. You're more than capable of showing Mom and even potential friends that you're an open person, Liu said in a reaffirming tone. Well, it's getting late. We have the first day of school tomorrow. I know the both of us will do great. After all, we have each other's backs, right? Yeah, we do, Jeff said quietly, smiling to himself. Elizabeth then knocked on the door a few moments later. Jeff? Liu, are you two awake? May I come in to say goodnight? Yeah, the door's open, Liu said. Jeff quietly scoffed to himself and pretended to fake sleep. He didn't want to talk to his mom. His pride and his ego was still healing. But he then realized it'd be a good moment to try and make his mom believe he has grown up. Jeff, can we talk? Elizabeth asked as she knelt down by his bedside. Yeah, he replied. Mom, can I say something? He continued. I know you're just trying to hold on to me because of how much I've grown. And I've realized that while I don't want to be babied, I still need you for support. Family's all we have, especially as nobodies in this town, so I'm sorry for yelling at you. Oh, sweetie, Elizabeth said. I want to apologize too. I thought I'd learned my lesson when Liu went through the same phase, but I guess it wasn't until you stormed off that I realized you are not your brother, and I need to give you your own sense of self. I may not understand your feelings completely, but know that I'll always be here to listen to you, she said in a calm, nurturing tone. Thank you, Mom, Jeff said warmly. I love you, the both of you, Elizabeth replied warmly. Sleep well, you two. You guys have a big day ahead of you tomorrow, she said as she closed the door. Good night, bro, Liu said to Jeff. Yeah. Night, Jeff said, going back to his cold register. I'm gonna make this like really quick. So, listening back to my recording, and just reading the thing in general, I noticed a lot of just slight grammatical errors, a bit of weird, awkward wording. There may be some run-on sentences too. Most likely. I mean, in all honesty, there's probably a lot of things wrong with it. I want to say I want to give this like a solid 6.5 out of 10, like as a first chapter. The reason, like my defense for the pacing of this is because I want it to be like a really slow build up, you know, because I don't want Jeff to quickly become this killer, you know. I need it to progress in a way that is realistic, you know. So just that idea, but anyways, that is part 1 of my rewriting of Jeff the Killer. I think I'll extend this to maybe 3 or 4 parts. I'm currently writing chapter 3, so the next video will be covering chapter 2, and I'll probably go in more depth of the things that I would make better in chapter 1, but other than that, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys made it this far. If you did, consider liking and subscribing. It'll help the channel grow, and that's all I have for you guys. So peace.